The work that we do is always important. It is the transportation system. People have to be able to rely on the transportation. And sometimes it gets serious. This was a serious project.
Last year, 23, we received 88.2 inches of rain. Average is 88. And you say, well, Portland rains a lot. Portland's a rainy city. Seattle's a rainy city. Well, they're half the amount of rain that we get.
In my 10 and a half years, we had 7 federally declared flood events in Tillamook County.
The soils are unstable. The slopes are steep and unstable. You just don't know what's going to happen next. Where you have soils that are prone to slide and you have steep slopes, if you add water, you get a slide. The slide area that is the north flank of the Cape and the edge of the community of Cape Meares, that's the same area that's still moving today that was first recorded as being a slide in 1877.
I worked for the county until 2017, so about 10 and a half years. You know, it's a demanding job. It's a tough job. At that point, we had about a $6 million annual budget and a staff of about 23 people. So we had a staff, George Uri. He would drive here every single day to look at the condition of the road to see how much it dropped overnight. Over heavy rains, it would drop a foot. So we'd send the grader up there and a whole crew, and you'd regrade the road. It was constantly costing us money. So we put a series of inclinometers in where you actually drill a hole, you put a series of instrumentation down, and then as the ground moves, your instruments move, and you can tell how much you're moving on a daily basis.
Well, during the 8 months of the year 2013, those monitoring points moved as much as 12 to 13 feet horizontal.
So the ocean erodes the toe, it slides, erode, slide, erode, slide.
The slide now again in 2013 is very active. Well, with Leanne's technical background and with that new information, that's it. Close the road.
I made the recommendation to the Board of County Commissioners to close this road that it was not safe. But it was the road that hooked these communities together. People are retiring here, and so getting to their doctor appointments is really critical for their life safety and their quality of life. So again, it's just these small communities are linked together by the very small road systems, and when you have failures, they become isolated very quickly.
Bay Ocean Road was shut down for a brief period of time during December of 2015. At that point, you could not get out of the community of Cape Meares. There was no other way. And also, when Cape Meares Loop was shut down, Highway 131 blew out as well. So there was a period of time where you could not get out of Oceanside or Netards. It wasn't hypothetical that, well, if you don't build it, you'd be stranded. I said, no, you actually were stranded on 2 separate occasions with 3 completely different communities.
Maintaining access out here is pretty important. A lot of times if Bay Ocean Road was closed, we had an agreement where we would first respond to Cape Meares if needed, and so we kept an eye on that road a lot. Still, you know, one slide, one tree, and it still takes a while to mobilize and get the people out.
We looked at a variety of other options, and the most cost-effective option was to relocate the road.
She was the first to point out that we had to move the road far enough to the east and far enough upslope to get past the point where the ground was breaking and sinking and sliding. And so that first decision to push the alignment up there that Leanne made has set the direction and the tone for the whole project. As Leanne moved on and then Chris came in, Chris comes in with more pure construction background. You have to have budget, you have to have permits, you have to have a viable design. It takes years to put that together. It was a substantial challenge considering the grades and the canyons and the drainage. This is the single largest construction project in the history of the county.
There are 285,000 cubic yards of material that need to be moved up on site. A dishwasher is about 1 cubic yard. So a normal dump truck carries 12 cubic yards, about 12 dishwashers. 285,000 cubic yards, or 285,000 dishwashers had to be moved up there. None of that soils were usable. You couldn't put it back into, usually you dig a hole, you can put material back in, couldn't do that here, because the soils were just horrible. I think some of the biggest challenges that we had were the process of right-of-way acquisition. And that was working with the design, Western Federal Highway is the designer, talking to the landowners. We got through the process, although that was, it was a challenging to get through and acquire that much property. The new road crosses over the main water source for the community of Cape Meares, which we're sitting in right now, and it's Coleman Creek. So special designs went through there. When we were doing the design, you'll see there's actually 8-foot tall fences on either side. Well, that's kind of a weird thing that you see on a road. And that was a special request because the water district didn't want people throwing beer cans, pop cans over and contaminating to their watershed. Special construction techniques were employed to make sure that the water source, Coleman Creek, was protected.
I touched this on the front end. I saw the very first drawings, and then I had other things I had to go do. And now I come back out, and there's this big, beautiful alignment. It's like, yeah, this is real, and it's really going to be here. Yeah, that was quite a moment. Now this design puts the alignment far enough to the east that it is above and beyond the scarp line, or that break line where land is starting to tear away from itself and move down slope. So this alignment should last for a very long time.
One of the big benefits out of this was tourism. This is a destination in and of itself. But this portion of the road is part of the historic 3 Cape scenic route. First Cape being Cape Meares, then Lookout, then Cape Kiwanda. So we've been operating as the 2 Cape scenic route when it should be 3. So we've restored essentially a significant corridor for tourism, but the road itself is a tourist destination, in my opinion.